record from my screen. Let me share screen. Okay, so guys, I want to share one important thing. Okay, very important thing. I observed, okay, I observed, might be, I'm not saying everyone, okay, one or two students, okay, so multiple people are listening my class at a time. Multiple people are listening my class at a time. Okay, yes, Rajesh, I'll give you the recording permission. So if I found, guys, I won't support you at all. And if that continues, I'll ask everyone to start video. I know the names also. Okay, but I'll ask you to stop that practice. It's not good practice. Okay, so multiple people, you just paid money for one student and multiple people are listening the classes. I know the names. Okay, I'm just observing. So if I found, then two things. One thing is I'll ask everyone to start video, including girls also. Okay, and second thing is I'll stop supporting that guy. Completely, I'll stop supporting that guy. It's not a good practice, guys. Okay, so I'll observe it for one more week. If it still continues, then I'll ask everyone to start video. Please mute it. Okay, so I'll give you one more week, guys. So I'll observe it. If not, okay, if that practice is not, if it is continuing, then I'll ask everyone to start the videos and all. Video, like you have to turn on your camera. Okay, so please don't do that kind of practice. It's not good practice. Okay, so if you learn properly, then only you will get fruitful results. If you learn in that way, you won't get fruitful results, I'm sure. Right, fine. So let's go with the TempDB discussion. So what TempDB will do? How TempDB is helpful for us? What in case if my TempDB is corrupted? Very important thing. TempDB is very important thing, guys. After master, TempDB is that much important. Of course, ModelDB is also important, I'm not saying, but TempDB will play a crucial role in data processing, guys. Your TempDB will play a crucial role in data processing. Okay, so all your data processing will be done in TempDB only. Whatever data it is processing, all the data processing will be done in TempDB only. TempDB is like a kind of RAM. How RAM is important for our laptop, in the same way, okay, TempDB is important for each SQL server. If there is no TempDB, there is no data processing. Okay, so if there is no TempDB, there is no SQL server. If there is no master, in that way, there is no SQL server, right? In the same way, if there is no TempDB, there is no SQL server. Why? Because it will use TempDB. Temp means temporary DB. Okay, it will use TempDB to process the data temporarily. Once the data processing is done, then it will store the data permanently in the databases, data files and all. Right? So without data processing, what is the use of the SQL server? Right? So like how RAM is important for the laptop, how RAM is important for your system, in the same way TempDB is important for the SQL server. Okay, in the same way TempDB is important for the SQL server. If there is no TempDB, there is no SQL server, there is no data processing and all, there is no SQL server. So one important point with the TempDB is it's a temporary database. First thing. Second thing is all the data processing will be done in the TempDB. Third thing is whenever you restart the SQL server, a new TempDB will be created. Whenever you restart the SQL server, a new TempDB will be created. Okay, so whenever you restart the SQL server, a new TempDB will be created. So this is the main point of the TempDB. Once you restart the SQL server, whatever TempDB is there, it will be dropped and it will create a new TempDB. It won't apply for all other system databases. Only TempDB it will apply. Okay, only for TempDB it will apply. Right? So whenever you restart or whenever you start the SQL server, automatically a new temp DB will be created, guys. Fine. A new temp DB will be, yes,
I
yes,
have a question.
yes, yes.
So you can, will it mean that for each session, a new temp DB is created?
No, no, no. That doesn't mean each session will create a new temp DB. No. All the sessions, say for example, now I just started my SQL Server morning at 7 o'clock, right? Before starting the class, I just started, or after starting the class, I just started my Windows Server. Then once I just started my Windows Server, my SQL Server also will start, right? Then 7 o'clock, a fresh temp DB will be created. What is the proof, sir? Go to the SQL Server, go to the temp DB, go to the properties of the temp DB, and check when the date created, when it was created. 12/29/2021 at 1:58:57 a.m. server time. What is the time now? 2:57 a.m. when it was created. Almost 2 o'clock, right? 2:57, right? That means 1 hour back is it was created, right? Agree? 1 hour back only I just started my SQL Server, right? At 7 o'clock or 7:10 I just started my SQL Server. So it was created at 1:58 and now the server time is 2:58 exactly. Okay, it was like 1 hour back I just started my SQL Server. This is the proof. So if you go to the master database, model database and all, you can see, okay, different time and all, different date and time. If you see here, 4/8/2003. If you ask me, sir, for 2019, why it is showing 2003? Why? Because master database, okay. So master database and all, like from older versions, it will come, right? So if you see here, it is showing 2003. Okay, so whenever you create the first time when you create the master database, model database, and it is showing that time. Default time it is showing 2003 and all. Okay, so the temp DB only will show the latest time. So if you see, so can anyone tell me what is the other way to find out when my SQL Server is lost, restarted, or started? What is the other way to find out when my SQL Server is lost, restarted, or started?
Same way, yeah, we can check where temp DB date created
Creation, that's it.
from that
Of
also.
course, we have task manager. Task manager will tell you when the server is up and running. Okay. So it will tell you since when your server is up and running. It is up and running since 1 hour. Okay. But it doesn't mean your Windows server is up and running. It doesn't mean your SQL server is up and running, right? Your SQL server might not start with the Windows server. Someone manually started the SQL server. We are not sure, right? But exactly what is the value? If you check the temp DB date creation, then automatically, okay, you can see, okay, when the SQL server is lost, restarted, or started. That is one way of checking when your SQL server is last restarted or started. So whenever you create, okay, whenever you restart the SQL server, automatically a new temp DB will be created. That doesn't mean this session will get one temp DB, this session will get one temp DB. Like that, 100 people are connected to my SQL server, 100 sessions are there, I'll get 100 temp DBs. No, all will use, see here also same RAM concept. If 10 users are there, 10 users are using your laptop, is it like 10 RAMs are there to your laptop? Are you going to add 10 RAMs? No, right? Each session, each person won't get each RAM, right? So only one RAM they are using. RAM is a shared object. Okay, so everyone can use. Those who are using system, they can use the RAM automatically. Okay, in the same way, each session won't get new temp DB. All will use the same temp DB, sir. Is it clear, everyone? So mainly the temp DB is to, it won't store the data permanently, guys. Remember, it will store the data only temporarily until the data processing is over. Once the data processing is over, then it will delete the data. Or else once you restart the SQL server, automatically all the temp DB will be deleted. The whole DB will be deleted and it will create a fresh temp DB. Agree? Is it clear? Anyone having any issues, guys? So whenever the SQL server is restarted the template. Yes, that's correct, Muthu. Whenever you start the SQL server or whenever you restart the SQL server, a new temp DB will be created. Is it clear?
Okay, until it go for next restart or start, till
Yes.
that the DB is maintained for all sessions.
All user
That
sessions, and of
particular-
course, if the data processing is over, it won't maintain the data. Why? Because see, I may restart now, I may restart next year. It can't store 1 year user data and all in the TempDB, right? In the RAM, how
Yes,
it is managing? Simply, it will manage. TempDB also will be managed like while processing. It will
here
keep the data temporarily in the RAM. Once the processing, once your task is over, it will remove your objects from the RAM. In the same way, until the processing is going to be completed, it will just process all your data in the like kind of a warehouse. It will keep it in the TempDB. It will process it, and then once the action is completed, it will delete the data from that particular TempDB. Okay.
okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Any questions? Any doubts regarding
So,
TempDB? Yes.
Sharmukh,
Yes.
in the properties, you see like there is a users, number of users of TempDB. So, is
Yes.
that like 4 users using the TempDB currently, or
Currently, yes,
is
4 users are using TempDB. These users might be
okay?
you. These users might be inbuilt users, default users. Okay. Don't think 4 people are connected. Might be SQL Server can connect using the one user, DBO user. Okay. So like that, it will work. Okay. Clear, guys? Any issues? Any doubts? Right. So now tell me, now tell me, while discussing model database, we discussed one important point, right? If my model is down, my SQL Server will start or it won't start. Now you have to compare this with the TempDB, guys. Okay. You have to compare the TempDB properties and you have to compare model database specifications or properties. Now you have to let me know the answer. If no, lot of people said no. Why? What is the reason? If my model is corrupted, if my model is down, why I cannot start my SQL Server?
TempDB won't create it.
Sorry.
TempDB won't create it.
Temp down.
Very
TempDB
good.
down.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. So I'll tell you the reason, clear reason. So whenever you restart the SQL Server, it will create a new TempDB. Agree, everyone? Is it clear? Is this point clear? First thing is, main 3 important points of TempDB is TempDB will store the data temporarily. Okay. It will store the data temporary purpose. Second thing is, whenever you restart or start the SQL Server, a new TempDB will be created. Okay. Third point is, once the data processing is done, it will delete everything from the TempDB. Okay. So all these 3 are important points, right? Fine. So the important point is, whenever you restart the SQL Server, a new TempDB will be created. Whenever you are creating any new DB, on which database it will depends, guys.
Model
Forget about
database.
TempDB.
Model.
Whenever a new DB is created, on which database it will depends? It will
Model
depends
database.
on your model database. If my model database is down, how can you create TempDB? If TempDB can't be created, how can you start the SQL Server? Is it clear, guys? Still having any doubts why I cannot start the SQL Server if my model is down? Is it clear, everyone, please? If your model is down, TempDB won't be created next time when you restart the SQL Server. Why? Because even TempDB also will depends on model database on some values. Okay, TempDB also depends on model database while creating this new TempDB. The path and all, the file sizes and all, it will depends on model database only. If your model is down, TempDB won't be created. If there is no TempDB, I told you, right? If there is no RAM, can you start your laptop? You cannot start. In the same way, if there is no TempDB, you cannot start your SQL Server. Is it clear, everyone, please? Very important interview question. Is it clear? Right? Fine. Guys, please respond. Yes or no, please.
Yes, sir.
Anyone having any issues with the TempDB,
Yes,
you
sir.
can ask me, guys. No problem. Right, fine. So with that note, let's continue. Okay, fine. So the next one is a resource database. What resource database will do, sir? Okay, resource database and your master database both are wife and husband, not real wife and husband. They will act as wife and husband. Okay. So whatever objects you are storing in the master database, whatever objects you are storing like SQL Server settings, all other database metadata, all other database data files information, log files information, logins information, linked servers information, all the settings information, all the configuration information of the SQL Server, all this information is storing in the master database logically. Means the paths and all will be stored in the master database, but actually physical information will be stored in the resource database only. Sir, what is the proof? You are saying resource database. I don't see anywhere here resource database, and I can use SP_helpdb also to see all the databases. I can use a stored procedure. Yes, very good, Nokraju. Service pack information. Excellent point. Okay. So if you see SP_helpdb, it will help you to find out all the databases information and their sizes and the owners and the database IDs and when it was created and the status, whether the database is online, offline, read only mode, read write mode, okay, multi-user mode, single user mode. If you expand this column, you can see lot of information. Okay, right? Collation settings of each database will be stored and you can pull the information, compatibility level of all the databases you can pull using your SP_helpdb. Okay, all the information you can pull using SP_helpdb, right? So all the databases it will show you: Azure, BigBasket, GPay, Master, Model, MSDB, PhonePe, TempDB. Okay, it will just keep the databases in A to Z alphabetical order. SP means stored procedure. SP means stored procedure. It's a program. Okay, every time we cannot run the big program, right? So we'll create one SP, stored procedure. Small name will be there for that. Once you run this SP in the backend, there is an associated script will be there. That script will run automatically. Every time you cannot run that big script to check the database names, sizes, date created, owners of. So every time you cannot run that script, right? So it's kind of a what you can say, contact number. Okay, so contact number you are going to save with the daddy, mommy, like that, right? If you call daddy, the number will be okay. It will your daddy number will ring, right? In the same way, the name will be associated with one phone number. In the same way, the stored procedure will be associated with one script. Whenever you run this stored procedure, that script will run in the background and it will pull this information. Okay, that is called stored procedure. System stored procedures are there, user defined stored procedures are there. Automatically when you install SQL Server, some default stored procedures will come along with the SQL Server. No need to execute. SP versus execute, both are same. SP versus execute. What is this execute, Fayak? SP is stored procedure. Execute is completely different. Okay, it's a different command, not same. Okay, right. I'm not sure what execute you are referring, but both are not same. Right. So SP_helpdb, this is system stored procedure. You don't need to create this stored procedure by your own. If you want, you can create a stored procedures by your own also. Those are user defined stored procedure, USPs, user defined stored procedure. Sir, one doubt. For example, we create one table in TempDB and after we'll restart a server, then the table was automatically deleted. That means fresh TempDB. You just check Bob and let me know. The answer is yes. If you restart it, it will be cleared completely. A fresh TempDB you will get. If you want to check, you can just check it. No issues at all. Okay, you can create one table, restart it and check whether the table is there or not.
You said already restart the server, sir, but don't delete the TempDB table.
You can still see the TempDB table, that table. I'll
Yes,
tell
sir.
you one thing. See, here in the TempDB, if you create it manually, that is a permanent table. Okay, don't do like that. You can create temporary tables using hash. If you give hash before the table name, it will create temporarily. And when you restart it, all the temporary objects will be deleted.
That means temp table. Yes, okay, sir.
Okay, temp hash or double hash you have to give. That means in the script, if you see hash or double hash before the table name, that means those are the temporary tables. Okay, clear? So that's why while processing the data, it will create temporary tables. It won't create permanent tables.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, so it won't create permanent tables. You just created directly like this and right click new table. You did like this. Okay, don't do like that. It's a permanent table. Okay, you have to create a temporary table using hash symbol. If you want to just go to the Google, check how to create a temporary table. You will get a script to just execute that script. You will temporary table will be created, and then restart the SQL server and check whether table is there or not. Okay, right, fine, clear. And this is the best proof. Okay, and of course, if you want to still see, if you don't believe my points, let's show you. Okay, I'll show you one important point. Let me go to the SQL Server error log. Guys, there is an error log, very important. SQL Server error log will log each and every action that you are doing on your SQL Server. Error log, okay, where I can see go to management, go to SQL Server logs. There you can see current error log. Okay, so these are the current error logs. One is current error logs, remaining error logs are old error logs, archivals. Okay, archivals, you can see archive 1, archive 2, archive 3. If you see current error log, since when it is recording, since 29/12/2021 from 158 onwards, means anyone remember this time? Can anyone tell me when where you can see this time? Just now, yes. Whenever you start, just now by TempDB properties, we just check it, right? 158. Whenever you start a SQL server, one log file will be created, and since the point you started, all this 1 hour information, 158 to 312, how much? Almost all 1 hour 15 minutes information will be stored in this current error log file. Sir, before yesterday we started the SQL server. Day before yesterday we started the SQL server. I want to see those logs. Then you have to go to archivals. Okay, so this archival is 12/28 from 4:16 onwards, 4:16 to 1:58 p.m. This is 12/27 8:35 to 4:16. This is 12/25 5:49 to 8:35 a.m. Okay, clear guys? So I want to see the current error log. Go to the error log, you can check each and everything. Okay, now what we can do, how to read the error log, guys? You have to read from bottom to top. Okay, bottom to top approach you have to follow. So you can see here, it just detected the Windows Server version. Okay, this is your software, and UTC time zone it detected, and it gave one, it allocated one process, and you can see authentication mode, it just detected the authentication mode. And if you see here, it will check the error log, whether it is error log is there or not. Why? Because since beginning it has to write each and everything, right? Logbook, if you go to logbook, if you go to any library, you can find the logbooks, right? When you came to the library, at what time you came, what books are there with you. Okay, what are the books you are bargaining or you are taking from your library. Okay, what books are you are taking from library, your library membership card ID, your mobile number, everything you are going to note it down in the logbook, right? In the same way, whatever you are doing in the SQL server, everything will be logged inside your particular error log file. Okay, there you can see. Yes,
One question. This is an error log or activity logs? Whatever
error log,
activities we are
error
doing.
log. It's completely error log. Okay, activity log is different. Okay, you can mention the, see, the activity log means, of course, whatever activities you are doing, it is going to log, right? So you can treat this as activity log also, but officially we are going to call this as error log. Don't think error log means only errors will be there. All the information, all the activity will be recorded inside your error log. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, fine. So if you go up, if you see here, if you have time, guys, please read it, each entry, please read each entry. You can see logging SQL Server messages. You can see here logging SQL Server messages in which file? In the error log file. Whatever entries are there, it is logging all the entries in the error log. The service account, it just detected the service account. Then startup parameters, you can see whenever you start the SQL server, first these startup parameters only will start. You can see the complete information below. Okay, you can see these are the startup parameters, guys. Master.mdf file, error log file, and master.ldf file. Means whenever you start your SQL server, if these three files are not there in this location, your SQL server won't start, guys. These are called startup parameters. Very important. If your SQL server is not starting, check your startup parameters, whether your files are there or not. Go to this path, just copy this path. Okay, check your master.mdf is there or not. Copy, Windows R, Control V, paste it. There you can see master.mdf. Again, you can go and check your log file. Copy. Don't copy the whole master.log. Okay, it will open. Just copy until this path, that is file name, you cannot copy that one. Control C and Windows R, Control V, and enter again. There you can see master log. Okay, error log file will be stored in a different location under log location. Copy this one, Control C, Windows R, Control V, enter. There you can see error log file. If anyone deleted any of these 3 files, your SQL Server won't start, guys. If you want, you can try today, but don't delete, just keep it in somewhere. If you deleted it, you cannot reclaim, your SQL Server won't start again. It will create a lot of problems. What you can do, stop your SQL Server. If it is up and running, you cannot delete or you cannot copy. Stop your SQL Server, just copy this error log to another location, any other location, just save it temporarily and try to start your SQL Server. It won't start. Why? Because while starting, it will check whether all these files are there in these locations or not. -D, okay, data file. Let me copy this to a notepad. Control C, minimize the server. Notepad is there. Okay, Control A, Control V. If you see here, -D, -E, and -L. -D means master database data file. -E means master error log file. Okay, -L means log file. I'm sorry, guys. So this is how it will work. These are called startup parameters. If SQL Server don't find these files under this path, see, for example, you just changed master.mdf in another location. Whenever you start the SQL Server, in the master database, actually it was recorded, this path was recorded. So SQL Server will check in the master catalog first. Okay, chalo, this path, whether a master.mdf file is there or not. If it is there, it will verify, it will just give a green tick. It will next check error log is there in this location or not. If it is there, it will give green tick, 2 green ticks. And again, it will check whether this master log.ldf file is there in this location or not. If it is there, it will give 3rd green tick. Once all 3 green ticks are there, then only it will start the SQL Server. Now you just you want to move this file from this location to another location. Now SQL Server, while starting, it will check, this check will be failed. There is no master log.ldf file in this location. Your SQL Server won't start. How to fix it? Wherever you just copied, you have to again copy paste to the old location, and then if you try starting, it will start. If you deleted permanently, you cannot do anything. You cannot do anything. You have to simply install a new SQL Server. Clear, guys? These are called startup parameters that you can say. So first it will identify the startup parameters while starting. Okay, it just identified the startup parameters, and then command line, and it just identified the RAM, how much RAM is there for machine 3583 RAM. It just detected the RAM. It just identified the collation settings, and then go up. If you see here, if you go up like that, okay, you can see, right, somewhere it just started master database. You can see here starting up master database. Okay, if you go up. Model. See here, starting up TempDB. Okay, you can see, right, this entry, starting up TempDB, right? I'll tell you in the backup concept. I'll tell you, sir, can we take the backups of system databases smooth? I'll tell you in the backup concept. You can see here this entry. See here, clearing temp database. This entry, clearing temp database. Now is it clear? It will clear the temp database first, then only it will start the temp database. Clear, guys? Any issues, any doubts? This is the proof whether it is creating a new TempDB or not every time. It will clear the TempDB first, and then it will create a new TempDB, fresh TempDB it will create. Okay, so is it clear, everyone? Any issues, any doubts? How to check the error log and all? Very important, whenever we face any issues, any problems with the SQL Server, the first thing we'll check is error log only. Error log only will check. The first source is error log only. We'll check whether everything is looking good or not in the error log. You can see some errors also in the error log. Sir, I don't see errors still now. You can see some errors. If you go top, you can see login failed for Kusma. We got an error, right? What is the reason? What is the reason why login failed? If you go to this information or here, okay, what it is saying, server is configured for integrated authentication only. The actual reason is not mentioned here. And of course, if you see here operating system error, the file cannot be found. We just generated one error, right? What is that? SHA, sales.sha, sales_log.sha, operating system error. The file cannot be found. Okay, if you see here, operating system error 2. Okay, the system cannot find the path specified. Here you can see sales.sha. So it is unable to find the file. So you can see it was recorded in the same way. Okay, sales. This is for MDF file. This is sales.sha, and this error for log file sales_log.sha. Okay, so that errors we already got, right? The same errors are recorded here, and you can see. Okay, so this is how you can easily identify. You can check the errors and all using your error log. Error log is very important for SQL DBS. Whatever, in case if any errors are there, if any issue is there, your SQL server is not working properly, first we'll check error log only. Then only if you find any errors, it will help us. It will give you some hints. Based on that hints, we can start troubleshooting, guys. Is it clear, everyone? Any doubts, any issues, please?
So
Yes.
while starting this master database, it's checking the MDF, LDF, and the error log.
Error log.
Okay,
These
so
three files are
MDF and
starter
LDF,
parameters.
it
Yes.
is, yeah, LDF, MDF, it is okay, but like for error logs, it is just an error, right? So
I'll tell you, sir.
my-
Okay, so don't think it's just an error. Okay, so it has to log. Someone said, sir, can I treat that as an activity log? Yes, you can treat it as an activity log. Why? Because it has to start. For example, your SQL server is not starting. Where it is going to write the information if error log is not starting? You have to know, right, why it is not starting. So to which file it is going to write the information why your SQL server is not starting. You may think, sir, only these are errors, right? What in case if the file is not writing errors? How can you find out the error if the SQL server is not starting, if it is not writing to the error log?
okay.
So even if it is, started successfully, also it will write in that
Yes,
log, right?
yes. Don't think error
Okay,
log
okay.
means it will write only errors. It will write all the activities. From beginning of the SQL server, from starting point onwards, whatever it is done, everything will be loaded inside your error log. The name is error log officially, but as discussed, it might be an activity log.
So in case if we lost that file, only error log, is it recoverable?
So one thing is it will create a temporary error log file. Okay, just check it. What you can do is just copy paste, don't cut paste. Do one thing, copy paste that error log from the location, just paste it in another location. Just try exploring the thing. Start your
Okay.
SQL server. If it is starting by creating an dummy error log, that's okay. If it's not starting, whatever your error log you just stored in another location, right, replace it with the current location and then start it again.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, just try it once. Guys, any questions, any doubts as of now? Let's complete the resource database so that we have 4 minutes time. We'll discuss remaining tomorrow, right? So resource database is a hidden database, sir. Where is the hidden database? Then where I can see, I cannot see in this list also. Where I can see the files, I cannot see in this list also. Even though if it is hidden database, at least I can see the resource database data file and log file, right? Where, sir, I cannot see any resource database data file and log file in this list. Where it is? As it is resource database, hidden database, you cannot see data files and log files in the default location. For that also, there is a different location. Go to bin n folder. You can see under this bin n, you can see 2 files. This is your MS SQL system resource data file and MS SQL system resource log file, guys. So in this location, they will be stored for a security purpose. They just differentiated the path from other databases. They just kept in this location. And one more important thing is, whenever you're patching the SQL server, it is going to update your resource database. Then only your patch will be successful. Okay, patching. If you are patching, the build number is going to change, right? This number is going to be changed, right? So actually, it is going to patch resource database. Okay, it is going to patch the resource database. Once it just patched resource database, your SQL server will be patched successfully. Okay, so resource database, whatever information is storing in master database, that information will store in master database logically. The same information will be maintained by the resource database physically. And master and resource are kind of a wife and husband. And of course, your patching information also will be stored inside your resource database only. Patching resource database will play a crucial role in patching the SQL Server. Guys, if resource database is corrupted in the same way, you can't start your SQL Server. Okay, if resource database is corrupted, you cannot start your SQL Server, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Any questions, any doubts, guys, please? Any questions regarding resource database or any system database? If no questions, I'll give you one assignment. Okay, so
Shanmugh,
yes,
I
sir,
have a
please.
question.
Yes, please.
We are saying for all databases corrupted, right? So,
Mhm.
from where we can, I mean, is there an option to
Yes,
restore
we
it?
can
Or
check in the error log. Okay, first thing, if master is corrupted, of course, you cannot start the SQL Server. So you cannot connect to the SQL Server. You cannot check in the error log. Okay, but there is one more option is there for us. That is event viewer. It will record all Windows events. Okay, event viewer. It will record all Windows event. What is the shortcut for event viewer, guys? EVENT PWR. Okay, so in this event viewer, if other databases are corrupted, no problem, SQL Server will start. You can check in the SQL Server error log. If master is corrupted, your SQL Server won't start, right? You cannot connect, right? So where I can check? Go to event viewer, go to Windows logs, go to application logs. There you can see all the errors, not only related to the SQL servers, related to the other softwares also. You can go to the filter current log. You can apply errors, okay, and critical information. The sources you can select as SQL Server. Here, if you go to MS SQL, if you go to M Word, there you can see MS SQL, ABCDFGHIJKLM. Okay. Here you can select MS SQL Server. I'll reconnect, nothing to worry. I'll reopen the session, guys. If you see here, MS SQL Server, MS SQL, okay, and you can see only one default instance is there, I guess. Okay. If you just click OK, now you can see all the information related to the MS SQL Server. Okay, so let's connect again. We'll connect for 5 to 10 minutes, then we'll disconnect. Okay, let me reopen the session.